Hello and welcome back to our next Friday stream. As you can see, Andreas is back.
Hi guys.
And yeah, what's the topic of today? Last week we added on the iOS side the new screen where we want to show the popular movies and so on. And the backend side was missing till now, and today we want to work on that topic. So, any addition?
Well, not really.
Okay, then
we will add the new endpoints, I guess.
Let's jump into the code. So here we go.
Yeah. First things first, new Quarkus version. So maybe we test it later.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to.
I didn't test it before the stream, so I don't want to start with it. But
Okay.
maybe you can make a vote if the people believe it will work or not.
Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, Lensman, thank you for resubscribing a third month.
Thanks.
yeah.
So let's first have a look at the Movies DB API. So again, we use the movie database API version 3. And what we were talking about are these 4 endpoints. The now playing, popular, top rated, and upcoming. So for example, for now playing, it gets the list of movies that are currently in theaters. Yeah, so that's only movies that are in theaters and that are currently in theaters. And also like the popular gives you the popular movies on TNVB. So when we have a look here on the parameters, it's a paged result again. I mean, of course, you can get a lot of results.
Yeah.
Also, you can specify the language again. We know that API key again as a query parameter, like we like it not. You could also pass in a region to specify a region in which you only want to get this, but we won't do that for now.
And maybe we can add it in later in the future if we need it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's almost the same parameters like the search.
Yes, it's very similar. Where's the search movies? Was it here? It wasn't prepared.
No, it's search somewhere. Search on the bottom, more down. Search, yeah.
Sorted by alphabet. So here we had a query and the page, and I think we also had the language.
Yeah.
Search company.
Movies.
Search movies. Here we have it. Page, query, language, API key, and included alt. So, and the response is also, if I've seen that correctly, pretty much the same or the same.
Yeah, basically a list of movies.
A list of, so we have the page, so we have this wrapper object for the page result, the page with total results and total pages, and in it a result of movie list result object and movie list result object.
Yeah, so the response is basically the same.
Hopefully.
At least the documentation,
is like that. So
let's see if it's true.
Yeah, and all these 4 calls, they look the same. So we should be fine to make one call for all of them. If we have a look here at the path, it's just that this changes here, the popular and top rated and so on. And we will now incorporate this. One thing we should discuss is how does the client want to get this data? So we could make a separate endpoint for it, but the result is basically the same as for search. And I would say it's basically just a different search. So instead of searching with a query parameter, we search with a list name, I would say. So we could just merge this into the search, query or search call that we have.
So basically you do a search and give a parameter for like popular movies or something like that.
Yes.
So no query with the strings, or basically it's We instead of the title of the movie, for example, we give the top rated or something like that.
Yes.
Or do you want to add a different parameter?
I would add a different parameter.
Yeah, okay.
Because
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah,
query. You maybe you want to search top rated because there's a movie that is
Yeah.
called top rated.
Yeah.
I guess probably there is one. So we don't want to mix it, but we want to have it as a different option. I guess I have to.
But the question is, what would happen if we provide both then? So if do you then just ignore the query parameter, or we could also think about a combination of those? But that's maybe too much for now.
Yes.
Just as idea.
Yeah. So we basically we can think what we want to do here. So let's first create this parameter. So we can have just another parameter, I guess. Also,
or something like that, or I don't know.
Sorry, I somehow I hit a okay. I hit a key combination, and now I have Nvidia Overlay. I was worried a bit.
Okay.
It's not visible on that screen. That's good.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, that's how I find new keyboard shortcuts. So maybe we call it list name or list, just list. And we do not have to specify it because if we want to search, we don't want to have the list. Then we want to search. And if we go for the list, then we don't need the query.
So because the query should be optional then.
Yeah, because we cannot search there. But one of these should always be set.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes no sense. So we can already add a test for that or a check for that.
And test is a good.
Okay, we can later have a look.
Maybe we can think about unit tests or something like that later on.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, we don't have any right now. Huh?
We have the test directory here, so
yeah, okay. At least the preparation is done. Yeah, okay.
And there's even a test in there, but it's the generated one, and it doesn't work anymore. So
okay, we should definitely think about.
So we have
testing.
We have to change the assertion here that it works again.
Yeah.
So maybe like 404.
Yeah, but at least one of both parameters should be set. Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, we complain with a bad request. Please list. Okay. So that's the first thing. Then we also want to pass this on to our movies DB service, and then we need to update this here. So we now have the query, which is optional, and we have the list. And this was, I think, from last time. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Let's have a look. So here we search. It already complains because the search, I also double checked this, the search requires a query.
Okay.
So first thing, we can extract this parsing here into a method, just so it's nicer. And this was a response. Again, because I made this an extension function. It's now this, so this becomes a dot status. That's why I removed the name of the. What did you do here, IntelliJ? Okay. So we can just say pass this and return it. So that would basically be the same as before, with one exception here, that we have to make sure the query is set. But let's have a look first at the call that we want to make. Also some stuff from last time. So we want to do something similar to the search, so let's start with that. If you remember, it started with movie, not with search.
Yeah.
So get rid of that, and then we have a path parameter
list type or list, yeah.
Yeah, so list name, whatever. Get movies list. Language. We don't have the query, we have the list now, and it's not a query parameter, it's a path parameter.
Yeah.
The page is still a query parameter, so that should be fine, I guess. So here, we can now distinguish here what we want to do. So if the list is set, or if it's not set, then we are in the old case that we already know, the search. Right?
Yeah, and we have to make sure that query is set.
Yes, so if the query is not set, no, if it's not set in that case, then throw that request exception. Okay, now we have that, and otherwise we want to return the result of the API call to get movie list. API key. Okay, the accept language we again want default, so we extract a variable. Language and the list and the page. And of course, we also need to pass this.
Movie result. Yes.
So let's have a look if this works.
Me shepherding.
Get your bets on. Will it work? Well, at least it started. That's a start.
First step done.
Yeah. So I prepared a call here, get movie list. And we have upcoming. So I think that's what it was called. Let's double check. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said a path parameter, not a query parameter, right?
That's what we sent.
Okay.
But we specified it as a query parameter.
Added search. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So list or query. So boom. I mean, no boom. Yay.
Yeah, we get a result. That's good.
Yes, that's good. So it seems the outfit is upcoming. Release date is in the past. That's awesome. I mean,
okay, but upcoming is should be in future. Or did we miss some parameter?
Or is it just because it's coming in the theaters or so?
Can you scroll down and have a look at another entry?
So that one is in the future. The Northman.
No, it's not.
Huh?
We have May.
Oh, already. Also, the Northman, isn't it a serial?
The Northman, no, it's a movie. It's in theaters about 2 or 3 weeks.
In or since?
Since. in Germany at least.
Interesting.
Everything is in the past.
Interesting definition of upcoming. Let's validate if
Yeah, let's check if that's the right result.
not later, upcoming. The outfit.
Yeah, it's okay.
The Northman. Interesting definition of upcoming.
Yeah, I thought upcoming is in the future.
In the maybe it's depending on the region. I don't know which
it's
region
the
they use
original release. I don't know.
No idea.
Because some movies were moved in dates because of reasons we have the last 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean,
this one I would expect that they updated the release date then.
Yeah, and the first one that is actually
that's upcoming.
In the future. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So most of it is Never mind. We will have a check of popular.
And popular movies should be movies in theaters, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they are not popular. So.
Get a list of current popular movies on TMDb.
Okay.
So it's based on their ranking.
Their ranking, yeah.
Yeah. So it should also be not Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a trailer, but I don't know if it's already...
Batman, Uncharted.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. Okay, at least something.
These are all in theaters right now.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Okay. And we had one more, two more. Popular, top rated. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Godfather. Yeah, that makes sense. And now playing. Sonic, Batman, Bad Guys, Doctor Strange. Yeah, so that could be. At least some of them are playing.
Yeah. No, we haven't specified a region, so we don't know which region they use per default, but maybe we can have a look at the docs.
Didn't say
maybe
anything.
they use US region for us. Or is that optional?
No.
Yeah, the question is what they use if we don't provide it.
Yeah. Ideally, they would go for something like, depending on the language.
Maybe. Looks like you are missing the rating in the response. What?
What's the rating? Vote average. I think we just never implemented that. The client never asked for this.
But in the detail view, we have it.
In the detail, I guess you have it.
We have it, yeah. Because in the list, we haven't shown it right. Since now in the new UI we want to show it, so it would make sense to add it.
Do we also get it in the search? Not that we vote average, vote count, popularity. What's the difference between vote average and popularity?
Don't know. The vote average, it's clear. Popularity, it's maybe another.
Do you want to? Should we add it now?
Vote average, yeah. Wouldn't it be better to have a specific mapping for these queries to URL path mappings in case something changed in the movie API and you could keep your API consistent? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to have specific? Yes, I wanted to get to that, but let's first get the vote average. It's your life as a BFF developer. Client jumps in, wants something, and the next client partner jumps in and wants something more.
Yeah,
you gave them your small finger, and they ate your whole arm. And then they want you to code without an arm. Search model. guess vote count and yeah. Let's go with these two. Thanks. So search result. Oh, vote count is probably
vote
an
count.
integer. Why is nobody complaining? Search model, count, and then let's use, I guess, here. Yeah. And here. Yeah.
They're missing. Huh?
Movie
search model.
results. Oh, that's the wrong one.
It's DB. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole search results. The wrapper object for the paging, and I added it there. So that's almost the same, but not quite right. So let's try again. Whoa, no crash.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome.
Now chat, a little bit of applause.
Okay.
Some motivation in chat, please. Yeah.
So, Jonas. Oh, some cheers.
Okay.
So let's get back to the resource. Here, as Jonas said, at the moment we pass in the string, the list name just as a string, and we directly pass it on to the movies DB API. And if they change the name of that, the client would have to be adapted, and so on. That's not what we want. We actually want to support a fixed set of lists. And yeah, let's create something for that.
So we basically just provide the name of the list or something like that, and then you decide which query you will execute.
Release name.
Okay, that's easy. Just ask for cheers and you get bits.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So what did we have? We had now playing, popular, top rated, upcoming. Now playing, and upcoming. So we want also for our client an interface. So that's again our model. So it's not a DTO. In lack of a better name. Not quite like that, but at the moment I have no better name.
And maybe that has some ideas for a better name.
So now it depends what you. Oh wait, let's do it differently.
So
get rid of that.
Jonas says we call it collection in the app. So,
collection.
Yeah, collection.
Yeah.
So basically a movie collection. Or
okay. Yeah. Is a collection only what the user combines for himself, or is the collection this predefined thing?
So this specific one is a predefined one. Yeah.
Okay, but you use collection for both. The name collection, is it only for...
So naming wise, it's only a fixed one. So
okay.
The other ones are lists.
Okay. Movie collection name. Then let's go for that. Movie collection name. Then this would also.
So we can then differentiate when it's a collection, then it's a predefined one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we use list.
Yes. So this is also get movies. It's no longer just a search. Okay. So we have this collection here, and we need to map it to some. So here we don't want to use the collection. Get movie. Okay. We don't want just a string. We want a movie collection name. To have this a bit more type safe. So when we pass this in here, we need to parse it. And for this, we can add an extension function. We have some here already. Private string. This, so when on this string, and so in case we have most, what was this? Oh, I can't remember this stuff. Not even for 2 seconds.
Yeah, but for me it's the same. Normally I just copy paste it in and then adjust it.
So now playing. Is it okay if I use a dash?
Yes.
Okay, and the one must be exhaustive, so there must be an else case. This is not supported. Okay. So also this is optional, so we only call this when there's something in there. And now we have an optional collection name here. Now, again here, we want to have something fixed.
That's path.
Collection. Collection. And so we have our own DTOs here. And so let's define also an enum for this. And this is the movies name. Um,
And it's basically the same you just wrote,
yeah.
or maybe just copy paste.
Yeah. The question is where
That's in the mapper, right?
Yeah.
It's the stuff. Yeah, exactly. The now playing with the dashes.
only thing is we need to use the underscore. So we now have the luck that we still can use these names here. Otherwise, we would directly map it to strings. We can now use this enum. And if you use this as a path parameter, Quarkus will just use the name of it and put it in there.
Okay.
So in our client service, yeah, we need also to map here to name, and we can add this here. It was the moving collection, and we map it to DB collection name. Again, same procedure. Use a when, and now
we just provide a mapping.
Yes. And the good thing is the IDE and also Kotlin knows which cases are left. And so I always make this error. Okay, so now it works. But if we, for example, forget one here, or if we later add one here, then this when here will complain because there's a case missing.
Okay.
So we can be sure that we always map all of them. Where did I add it? Okay. What is this? Okay. Quiet string found. Why is it string? Ah, I didn't rename it or change the type. This will be collection name. Yeah. So let's test this. So this should be an error because we have an underscore here. Please find query or okay. It's also an error because we renamed the parameter.
Now playing is not supported.
Yes, now playing is not supported. Now playing is supported.
Okay, perfect.
And the same for top rated, upcoming or not so upcoming.
Yeah, the definition.
We could rename it to not so upcoming.
The definition is a little bit weird of upcoming, so I don't know.
And popular. Yeah.
So far, so good.
You called it collection. I just had to read a bit the stream. So now let's clean this up a bit. We already see a warning from Intelli, and always pay attention to this because it always makes the code better. Almost always, but yeah. So we can use the quick help and lift the return out of the if. And now just the if returns the last statement in each case. Okay. Also, this parse model result, movies result, we do it twice. We can also just do it here.
Very interesting.
So yeah, because the if returns,
Yeah, the object, the correct one, and then
Yeah.
we can.
and then we call this on the response, and then we return the result. So this looks
And
quite
that's
nice.
possible because we get the same result back.
The same
in-
type,
in
yeah.
the
Otherwise,
same
it would
type in
also
each-
complain because it.
Otherwise, it won't work.
Yeah. I mean, this is only defined on a response.
Mhm.
If you if we return a string here,
Yeah.
then it
And
says
turning
this
that.
method doesn't exist because the return type is something is any probably because any is the common parent.
Yeah.
Okay. That was nice. And still works. Awesome. Okay. Any questions so far? Any extra wishes from the client? I should be careful with asking this.
Yeah, be careful when Jonas is in chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the main page, it's fine, I think. The question is what would come next. So do we want to add some tests today, or what do we?
Yeah, I think we can start with that.
Okay.
Have a first glance at it
Mhm.
and see how far we get and how much I mess up there.
So
Yeah.
basically, we can start with the new endpoint to test
Yes,
this one.
exactly, because there we
Yeah.
now actually have not just
A little bit
calling
of
it
logic
through,
in there. Yeah.
where it's not so funny to test it really. Yeah. So I already switched over to the generated testing class.
Mhm.
That was from Quarkus when we first generated the project.
Mhm.
And first thing, I want to move this into the correct package and rename it because it's now no longer the reactive greeting resource. It's the movies resource test. Yes. And then we test search movies. Let's start with that.
Mhm.
So one thing we can now see is that this is rest assured. It's just a library for such HTTP testing. Because we're not, so you can do unit tests and also normal JUnit tests. But what I want to show you now is a Quarkus test, as you see. What this does is it actually starts a Quarkus and it runs these calls. So when we do this, it makes a get to /hello, which is now not there anymore because it was only in the generated code. So, and then we can make assertions. For example, the status code should be 200 and the body once was hello is reactive. Okay. And this should now fail. Awesome. So we see the expected status was 200, but we got a 500. 500 is interesting. Why did we get a 500? Because I remember
Didn't we
added the exception mapper to map anything that we don't know to a 500. Maybe one thing we can do here to help us in the future, we add a logger here to actually log these 500s. Because at the moment we only return the message to the client, which we cannot see at the moment, and we have no log from the server what actually happened. And you don't want to send the stack trace, for example, to the client. That's always not a good idea. So we want to log it here. So this is how we create a logger. And then we can just here log. This was an error because we have no idea what went wrong. And
Catched unknown error and add something.
and add the exception. And now we retest this. Add a mapper for the forecast. Yes, it would be good. So now we see here catched an unknown error, not found exception. So what we should add is a exception mapper, one for the web application exceptions. The is a web application exception because these are the standard exceptions. The for not found exception and so on. They so if you look here, it's a client error exception, and that's a web application exception.
Okay.
So all of these we probably just want to map to their status that is in there. Not Parameterized Tests. Oh, there's already a response there. All right. Okay. Response. Normally there's. I wonder a bit why it's not using the default mapper, because there should be a default mapper for this. But yeah, not sure why that's not working as expected.
So now we should only get the 404, right?
Yes, we should get the 404.
And
expected start is 200,
yeah,
but was 404. We also don't get the log message anymore. So we could add our first test. It's the exception mapper test, where we not found endpoint. We expect it to be a 404. Oh, I remember we had some special error body, right? Yeah. So we shouldn't use that, because that will not be using the error body.
okay.
So that the client always gets the same thing. So
That's the not found then.
Exception.
Response step.
Yeah.
Should be response and status code or status.
Then exception. The message is empty, but a localized message has to be there. What? Two returns and response failure. I copied this. I didn't even write it. Why is it wrong?
Yeah, it's a different exception and
Unexpected toe.
its status is
Did I miss
maybe the type
one
of
bracket? Yes, one too many. No. This is the.
Oh, it's okay. I
am generally confused.
Maybe it has to do the exception response status. Maybe it's not a status code, or is it a status code?
It is a number, and that's okay. This is help. Oh, right.
Huh? What's the difference now?
What is this? Okay, it's a response builder, and this also returns a response builder. Okay, so parser good in this RTTO.
Yeah,
Did I have more in there? No. Why can't you extract this? Except. Ah.
Okay.
Oh. Hate it. Why doesn't the chat see something like this? You guys are supposed to watch. And help me in such situations. Okay. So we can now check that the body isn't that. That's not expected, but we can now have a look at the body in the assertion error. So except we need to run actually this test.
So the
Yeah,
status
you're
code should
watching
be
the pros.
okay.
That's why I don't see columns. I expect the IDE to help me there, Moritz.
We just did it for the chat.
Yeah.
To check if they are
Still
watching.
live. So we see expected is this, actual was this.
Yeah. So we
found.
expect that it's HTTP for not found.
Yeah, we could now just add this here. If we do it like this, then it should actually already work.
Okay.
It's green.
Perfect.
We can also say the content type should be so it should be JSON. That's another assertion. Because we also want to make sure that this is the case. So with this you can, the nice thing is you can create these tests, and it's actually running all these filters and so on that you have in there, because it's actually running a Quarkus.
Okay. So basically now we would add for the different collection types a test and stuff like that.
Yeah. One cool thing I can also, no, didn't want to start that. I want to start Quarkus. What you can do now is when you start Quarkus dev, you can continuously let these tests run in the background. So if you read here, tests paused.
Chat can see it. One moment.
Good.
I have to. Yeah, my head is in.
Let's get it higher.
What's the webcam left? Oh, now they can see.
Okay. So as you can see it here, when it starts, at the moment it says tests paused. You can press H for help. Then you get some explanations. And for continuous testing, it's called this feature. You can just hit R, and then it starts testing. And it ran these 2 tests, and you see there's one test that failed. And no matter if you now work on this here, make this a 404, and now it recognized that you changed it and it updated, and now it says the body is not the correct one. We get rid of this test here then now we see we have 2 green. And if we for example add something in the movies resource later, or let's create a dummy resource.
So basically we don't have to stop the server and restart it just for testing.
that, and while you're developing, you
Right.
can have automatically run. I
You
mean, you
can-
don't
you
need
can-
to restart the server to test it manually.
Yeah.
It regenerates, and also now if you if you work on your code, it dynamically updates. So not this path here, just here, and what was it called? What we call in the test? Hello. Hello. Cat. So change the test
All
completed.
tests are passing.
Unexpected.
The annotation is missing out.
What the heck? Maybe it's so I expected it now to fail because the hello should be there. It could be because I added the class and we are using Kotlin. Sometimes they.
So it doesn't recognize the change.
Yeah, it doesn't really totally recognize it yet. So now it fails, yeah.
Okay.
And if we rename this again, then it still fails. Response body doesn't match expectation. Test sessions.
And it's automatically rerunning all the tests when you change the file.
It
right?
reruns only the affected ones.
The affected ones. Okay.
Yeah. So it even knows which ones are affected and only reruns those.
Okay.
So that's much faster.
So it's not a complete test suite. So
no,
basically the parts.
It's really continuous testing so that you
Nice.
can see what's going wrong when you're working on it. Wait a sec. It's not found. Yeah, we removed this here. This one's exception level test. Test not found. Exception. Getting confused by my bad naming. And now expected is calls this unable to find matching target resource method.
Okay.
What happens if I call this?
Yeah, 200. It's working. Is it some kind of default response stuff? Okay.
I'm a bit confused. But in general, that's how it works. Yeah. So what we actually wanted to do is write some useful tests. So
we could test all the collection types we just added.
yeah. But so testing them, what
so
exactly?
basically we could test that we provide a wrong one to test that the behavior is correct.
Yeah.
Then one correct type.
Yeah.
And then the other logic we have in it provide a query and a list. These variations.
Yeah. So first thing we can do is we can collection and we name it not.
Yeah, a collection we don't have. Yeah. And then we expect the error we defined before.
Just, okay. has
Invalid collection.
name. So, and then we don't get a 404, we get a 400.
And we expect a specific message, right?
Yes.
So we could also check for this message.
Yes. We expect the body, a JSON body actually. The content type is JSON, and let's see, how was it? That was a bit an API nightmare.
So is it not basically the same as in row 22? Where you say
Well,
body
yeah,
is or
but usually I don't want to specify the JSON here all the time.
Okay.
We could do that, but yeah, later on we get more complex stuff, and then it becomes quite cumbersome.
And you have a problem when the messages change. So
yes,
then you have failing tests.
Yes.
So is it possible to just get a message from an error and check it that way? So basically we know what we have defined and which part is variable. So
yes. This is possible to parse it, but validate the response, yeah. And then you can divorce this extractable response, and this one works with yes. So this should now be an error DTO. Let's first print our just to get a first look at it.
No output.
No output. Awesome. Let's do it the classical way. This is a relatively new feature.
Okay.
And yeah, no idea. I also haven't used it very often because
so maybe we stick to the easy example for now. So body is, and then paste what we expect.
So we actually got the error DTO parsed here. So what we can do is we can do classical assert
is equal.
No.
Assert equal, or I don't know how it's exactly called.
Yeah.
And then we say the result.
So the good thing here is this here already checks that it is an error DTO.
Okay. So the type is
now checked. Ensured.
Okay.
And then we can say we can put this in here. I mean, we want to make sure the client doesn't change, and we can make the calls. So
So you could extract a not valid collection into a variable and check for the variable.
Yeah.
Oh. So then you could change it if you want.
We could change it, or we could even go for something totally crazy and search how we do parameterized tests. That's
I'm unable to use it. First result. Oh, nice.
JUnit. This test. I cannot promise this will work. We already saw a bug ticket, but I didn't check if it's closed. Yeah. So
okay, then you can.
That should.
Okay. So then you can say, okay, I want to test it with different values.
Yes. Okay. It's not
These
int,
are strings.
it's strings, and you can put.
And then you could say,
yes,
yeah,
and
empty string, or just even an empty string. And yeah.
Null we also allow?
No, we don't. Was it optional? I think so, yeah.
I think this one needs to be different. This is the Java syntax. Required string. Okay, it doesn't allow nulls.
Okay. So, but these two values should be enough, huh?
Yeah. And then we put this in here. And
let's see.
We cross our fingers.
So now it would call the test twice.
Yes. Yeah. You see here the parameter, not valid collection, and this.
No, okay.
Let's see what this has. Double chars, boolean strings, classes. Okay.
Okay.
Can we actually not put in a null here?
No.
Why? Okay. But at least now we have already tested two things with one test
case.
case.
We have to provide that it's an optional, maybe.
The problem is this is a Java annotation.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it should work, but these annotations, they are a kind of special. They have some special limits.
Okay, but at least we get a...
Yeah.
We see how it works. So.
Yes. We could even... So this is basically the same that we always want to do for any error. So we could extract it into a method if we want. So what we have here was some validatable response, I think. Insert error. BTO status is an int message is a string. And now we can do this. Oh no, after the then. And then this action arrow. This is the message, and this is the expected stuff. And then we remove all this. Say this is a 400, and we expect this message, and then we throw all this away.
Then we can just reuse it.
Then we can reuse it. And let's create a. So it's already green. We can move this there. And we can also use it here, because here we did basically the same. And only use this.
And 404.
Insert error. Dot 144. And this. Sit up straight, okay. Trying.
So let's check if it's green. Yeah, perfect.
And we should also test this one. We can also create a cradle here to just run check, which runs all tests. So here again, we see with Kotlin, with this extension functions, you can make really cool stuff.
Yeah, and we see it works.
Awesome.
Okay, nice. So I think that's a good ending point, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Any questions from the chat? So now would be the perfect timing to ask them. So, yeah. Now we added. What? No. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That was fun.
Thanks.
Okay, then let's wrap it up here and continue with it next week, because next Friday we have an additional backend stream.
Yes.
Because we moved some iOS parts in the past, so to get into the original planning, I would say. So perfect, and yeah, no questions in chat. So I would say we wish you all a good weekend, and we'll see us next week. I think
on Friday.
We both on Friday, and the next stream would be on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's Moritz with the Office Racer again.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, Office Racer. And yeah, that's it. So
have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Nice weekend. Bye-bye.